providing women and young girls with equal access to education is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a prosperous and sustainable world. As girls move into adolescence, gender disparities widen. In Cameroon, this is seeing the number of girls who have not been to school or who have dropped out of a school, and the percentage increase with child marriage. Today we focus on child education. We tell you how to stamp out gender-based violence. By this, we have invited a group of young girls who will be telling us how to change the mindset of their peers, to telling us how a young girl can look at the future very bright without having thinking negatively. The program is Turn Up, Still Does. Everyone, it's always a pleasure to know that you are watching Turn Up on Canal the English, a program that seeks to empower women and the girl, a child. As I want to begin with this quotation of Nelson Mandela in 1996. He says, education must once again become the cornerstone values of the world. It must once again flourish. It must be instilled as a force of happiness, fulfillment, and hope in Africa, and specifically in the northern part of Cameroon and in other parts of the country. On the enrollment and dropping out of school is a significant problems that impede the achievements of universal primary education, particularly among girls. Over 3 million girls are undereducated and lack the support for their schooling, infringes enormously on their basic rights. Today we'll be talking about young girls. They'll be telling us about their initiative, what they conceived just some months back, and today is yielding fruit. We'll be right back after the jingle. And let the discussion begin. If you want to participate on today's program, you can send your reactions on the number you'll be seeing on your TV screens. You can equally tag us on Facebook and on YouTube. You just need to type Ndih Maureen Turn Up. I have all the past editions. Now my guests are right here with me. They are all very young. They have this brilliant initiative and they want to share it with young girls. They want to see the future very bright for every young girl in Cameroon, in Africa, why not the world. I'll begin with a person that is very close to me. She's called Brittany Berinue Mukoko, CEO and founder of Bright Future Builders Initiative. Now, how are you today?
I'm great, man.
Now you're so young.
Thank you.
You're so, I love the smile. You're so courageous. This is the first time you're coming on TV, right?
Yeah.
To talk about this initiative, to talk about this vision of yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about it now. As a student, I'm sure have you started going to school?
Yeah, I'm in secondary school.
All right. Now, how are you coping with COVID? What are the measures you're taking, and what are your parents telling you? We are in the heart of COVID-19.
Okay. We all know that we are in a very serious period now because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But, well, we don't go to school, and as a girl, it's very important to be educated. So, well, I school at home due to the encouragement and, you know, support from my parents. I do online courses, though my school gives online courses, but I do extra online courses just to keep myself in check. You know, because it's very important to be educated as a young girl.
Which means I have a computer at home?
Yeah, I have a laptop.
Phone, or you work
for my
on
classes.
WhatsApp. Or, do your parents control your content?
Of course they do. They control my phone, they control my laptop to make sure that everything is working out right.
Okay.
And I'm in phase.
All right, we equally have Foba. Foba, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very good.
I hope you're not shy.
No, at all.
All right, we're talking about COVID, right?
Yes.
And we've known this, so students have started classes already, those in examination classes. Now, what are the measures that you are taking personally to combat COVID?
So, I would say in my school, we have the opportunity to go out to people and grant them service. So, following that path, we decided to organize a day to be sharing face masks and hand sanitizers and soaps that we did already in poor quarters. So that was really to help those that are needy in those quarters, to prevent them from having COVID, because they usually say COVID is a sickness from rich people, but
That is real.
it's
A
real.
lot of people are dying from COVID-19. Cameroon is already at 8,000. More than 8,000 COVID positive are patients, which means that as students, you need to take measures so that you don't have the
Exactly.
disease. Now, we're here to talk about Bright Future Builders
Leaders
Initiative.
That's
Yeah.
what you're representing here today.
Yes.
I'll begin with Brittany. You're the CEO and founder. Now, we'll talk about Bright Future Builders Initiative. What's it all about?
Well, the Bright Future Builders Initiative is a non-governmental organization that has a mission to empower and promote societal inclusion of the general population by eradicating poverty, providing good education, by standing against gender-based violence and inequality. And also we have the aim of providing good health and sanitation for underprivileged people, and also education, as I mentioned earlier. And we also have a vision to build a future without disruption. We have a vision to affect positive changes today that would disrupt future despair. Well, what I mean by that is there is no way we can build a future tomorrow that is bright, that is great, without sowing seeds today. And the kind of seed you sow today will determine what you
Determines who
reap
you are
tomorrow. So what we do is we invest in people. We invest, especially in the young people. We invest in them because we know that the seeds that we sow are the results we will have tomorrow. And so we are doing that to, limit poverty, hopelessness, not only in our parents tomorrow, but also in the young people. So we
Now, I've retained two words from you.
okay.
That's sowing the seeds and investing.
Exactly.
Now, how do you invest?
Well, we can invest by empowering, because there are a lot of people in ignorance, and until you talk to them, they will not know. And talking to somebody can change a lot about that person. And then we also invest by acting. For example, we provide good education. Well, acting there is by sending underprivileged children to school. We are sowing a seed. We are giving them access to education. We look at partnering with other companies, to fund conferences like No to Poverty, where we give people funds to start businesses, where we empower people on the importance of taking up responsibility in society.
All right, how old are you?
I'm 14.
You're 14.
Yeah.
You're just 14. Now, how did this whole idea come about?
Well, the Bright Future Builders Initiative came to me last year, November, as an idea.
That's November
2019.
2019.
Yes.
We are just counting months. It's not up to a year old.
Yeah.
All right.
So, well, it came to me in November. I did not have the people to work with. And I thought it's going to be quite challenging with my parents because they were skeptical about my education, So what I did was I raised some funds. And the first thing I did was I organized a sanitary pad drive. I provided over 200 sanitary pads.
That's from your funds?
Yes.
Your personal funds that you raised,
Yeah.
that your parents will provide for you?
No, my parents did not.
Let's take it this way. That your parents will give you like say 1,000 francs.
Exactly.
To care for your needs.
Exactly.
And then you keep part of it to...
Yeah. And then I also spoke with a company at Douala, Aqua. So I spoke with them. I told them what I wanted to do. you know, they gave me some funds. I added to what I had, and then I did the project on the 17th of November.
Now, how did you convince them? They believed in you.
Yes, they did, because first of all, because of my age, they were like, "Oh, she's very young." But you know, I always tell myself it's not about my age. My age really doesn't count. So sometimes I forget I'm 14. Yeah, and so I had to do a letter for them. I did it. I explained everything, who I am, and the truth is, I have been volunteering in other organizations throughout the years. Like, I'm the country representative of the Violence Against Girls Initiative. I volunteer with the UN and many other organizations. I'm the country representative of the Global Youth Leaders Forum. Yes.
Now, how did you get to know these people? Is it that you work on the internet, you meet people who connected you to these persons? Because you're just 14, and I know you don't have access to the internet.
Well, I do have access to the internet.
But at least it's controlled?
Yeah, controlled.
But now, how then do you get connected to these people?
Okay, the truth is, I did that through my older sister. My older sister, she is very big. She is a personnel at the UN. She's a fellow at many women, you know, congresses. She's an advisory at the Women Deliver and many other things like that. So she got me hooked up when I was 11 years old, but I did not catch the vision. I was still the little timid girl.
You were doing what I call volunteerism.
Yeah, I was volunteering. Even in my formal school, I organized conferences. I got over 500 students, you know, success seminars in education, and people were just marveled, like, she's 11. So I got to meet all these people, to volunteer like I do, you know, to be ambassadors with different organizations through my work on the internet. I'm a coder. That's when people know about me.
In what class are you?
Form 4.
You're in Form 4.
Yes.
You are not, if you've never been written the ordinary level.
No.
And you talk this way, you have your vision. Now I have Foba, who is a member of Bright Future Leaders Initiative. Now, what made you join the vision?
Okay, my aim of joining the Bright Futures Builders Initiative is because on my own part, I like the empowering stuff, empowering girls, because it's a project I had before even volunteering in the Bright Futures Builders Initiative. I had a project of creating an association who will work only for girls.
Young girls, like
for young girls, exactly. Because in our societies now, nowadays, girls are really, they're brought very low, and they can't go out and express themselves, do what they have to do, and
means that what you want to say, that girls are suppressed.
Exactly.
They're not given the opportunity to express their mind and bring out that creativity in them.
Exactly. And I would say somehow I've been a victim of that, and that's why I want to do that. I want to prove to girls that it's not because you're a girl that you can't be a carpenter, or you can't stand in front of millions of people to talk and express yourself and say what you have to say and pass the message you want to pass. So that's why I really wanted to join the BABI. So that's the abbreviation of the association.
All right. Now, when you move around, what's the image you have of the girl child?
So, for me, girls they're like the mothers of the society. They carry the society, because without girls, for me, the society will not move. And nowadays, when you look around you, you realize that there are women who work for the father. They are the father and the mother at the same time. They have to work. They have to go out and encounter with people to build their future, or to build their children's future. I'll take an example from my mom. My mom is someone that really, she's the one that is helping me in all these stuff. She's the one pushing me to go ahead, and she's the one working like a dad for me. So
Your dad is never there for you.
my dad is there for me, but
Okay.
my dad is not there for me like my mom is there
Okay.
for me. My mom has more.
Yeah, mom puts in more time for you. She
Exactly.
dedicates more time for you.
Exactly.
She listens to you. And she's
Exactly.
giving you that extra push.
And she works very, very hard. Sometimes when I look at her, I
So
say,
she's your role model.
exactly. Sometimes when I look at her, I just wish to be like her,
Okay.
because she's really a powerful woman. And that's what I wish for all the girls outside. I'm tired of seeing girls who sell themselves because of money.
Okay.
I'm tired of seeing girls walking around almost naked.
Okay.
It's a shame. I'll say it's a shame, because girls, your body is a temple. You have to keep it, and you have to show to other people that I can use my power to change the world of today, to build a powerful world for tomorrow.
All right. So you think that most girls they don't know the power they have in them?
Yes, I think girls, they have been used to the fact that men are the ones doing things, and they diminish themselves. They bring themselves very low. Why girls, they have the opportunity to do several things. In my school, for example, I will not say I'm the best, not to be proud, but somehow I'll say I'm the best. Because in our school we are organizing projects, and I'm always the one leading.
Okay.
I'm always the one in front. We organize a project for orphanage project. I was the one who raised the funds, who sent messages to
You
people.
sold the vision.
Exactly. Who printed letters for other people and all these stuff. We organized Women's Day celebration, and I was always in front. And like I said, the distribution project, I was like sponsoring the thing, but I wasn't alone, because I had people behind me who know what I'm doing, and they're supporting me in what I'm
But
doing.
you think that the girl child is more exposed to as well?
Exactly. A girl child is really exposed to several things. In the society, she's exposed to everything. If she don't have physical appearance like men, to stand strong and stand firm and say, I can walk, I can do this, she will always be marginalized. She will always be brought very low. Why? She can be at the top, and more than a man even. So
So your mother always checks on you. She checks your dressing. She's always there to check through your books and see that you're doing just the right thing. That's what you're saying. And there are so many mothers out there who have abandoned their role to educate their girl children. They have abandoned them, making these girl children not to have confidence in themselves, not to even know who they are. Now I'll come back to Maureen. What is that thing in society? Now, what image you see of the girl child out there? What are your mates?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, concerning the girl child, I will start by my background. I really did not have a good grow up, and while growing up,
You're
I
still
saw.
growing up.
Yes, I mean, yeah. But while growing up, I saw a lot of terrible things, but I could not talk because I was a child. They're like, what do you have to say?
So you
Like,
grown up now.
you know,
Sound like
she sounds like she's so mature.
well, I'm talking about when I could not say anything because until I started living with my mom, I was very timid. I just saw and I was like, okay, let me just stay at my quiet corner. But well, when I look at every girl, I know that the female is future. The future is female. Let me put it that way. I know that the future is female because I was doing some research and I found out that over 50% of the world's population is made up of women.
And 52% of Cameroon's population is made up of women.
So,
right?
yeah, very important. So I looked at it and I was like, there's a lot the girl child needs to know. There's a lot she has to be able to invest in herself because she has a role to play. I got to understand that women are not born for nothing. Though many women think that they were born for the back and then they meant for the front line. Well,
so when we telling the women that no to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were all born for the front line.
Okay.
I'm
No
not trying to say no discrimination. I'm not trying to say the women should be 52% and the men 48%. No. I'm trying to say there's supposed to be equality. There's supposed to be equality. Some people mistake equality to women being more than the men. No. Women are supposed to be given equal responsibility in society because the potentials they have cannot be undermined. Hillary Clinton once said that women are the largest untapped reservoirs of potentials. So women have a lot of potentials, and until they are told, that is why I always strive to empower women. When I see a woman drowning in ignorance, I feel so bad, and it always gives me joy to empower women because I know that I am building the future. Yeah, I know I am building the future. So when I meet a woman that, you know, she's going through violence from her husband, I tell her that you're greater than this and there's a lot you can do. You can be like that man. Some women say no, the men. It's true that in the house, if a woman is married to a man, the man is the father of the house. In a way, he's above the woman, but that doesn't make the woman his child. So that means women have to take up their roles in their homes, in society. I even got to realize that women inequality is not practiced only in rural areas. Even in big companies, there is inequality. I realized it and I was so shocked. So this is what I am saying to every woman now, to every girl. You have potentials and you can use them. You're so filled with potentials, but what you need to do is you need to look in yourself and discover these potentials and use, because if you cannot bring something inside out, there's no way it's going to show. It starts inside first. The determination, you have to be determined, you have to know that you can do it, and then you start it, because there is no way you're going to be great without action.
Now, as a young girl, you need to love yourself. You need to love that creature of God, right?
Exactly.
Start by loving yourself. Because I know young girls who love their mates. She's more beautiful than me. Why? You are also very beautiful. Love yourself, you have confidence in yourself. Every woman has that. There's something you can do that can impact society, that can impact wherever you are, impact the people around you. So women or young girls have a role to play in society. But now, Foba, don't you think that the problem is with the education in the house? Your mother will say, no, you go to the kitchen, or the man, your brother should go in the parlor. You should wash dresses, or your brother should just sit there watching TV. Don't you think there's a problem with education with our mothers?
Exactly. The problem of women being diminished or girls starts from home.
Okay.
Because I'll not say I'm a victim, but that's what happens in my house too.
Okay.
You have to cook, you have to wash you have to dry clean the floor, you have dishes and all these stuff. Why? At a certain level, I said stop, and I told my junior brother.
Did you tell your mom that?
Yes.
You told her that?
I told her
your
about
brother
that.
needs to be in the kitchen as
well.
He
needs to be in the kitchen, and that's when she started sending him to the kitchen to cook, and she realized that he can't even boil water, and I was really shocked, and I really compared him to my elder brother, because when he went to university, it was catastrophic. My mom could leave the house to go and be cooking for him there and all this stuff. So it starts from childhood. It starts from the house. If in the house they tell you should be in the kitchen, there's no way you go outside and have the power to empower others and tell them, no, your place is not just in the kitchen. You can go out and do something better. You can go out and give a better image of you. So
okay, now when you talk with your friends in school, wherever you go to, what do they tell you?
Well,
What are the
I
problems they tell you when you talk with your mates, you talk with your friends? You're just 14. I don't know how old you are too.
I'm 18.
You're 18, she's 14. I mean, what do they tell you? What do your mates tell you when you talk with them? I'm sure you talk with them one-on-one to know their problems, right? So what do they tell you?
Well, not only in school, though I have some cases in school. So in school, some tell me that they live with their auntie. You know, a lot of young girls migrated to Douala and Yaoundé due to the crisis. So they said, I live with an auntie and she has a son. The son always tries to sleep with me. I found that devastating and very, very
That's what
bad.
your friends, some of your friends confess to you?
Some of them tell me that. They say I'm very scared to go back home. So I just tell them that, my dear, you have to be strong. Tell your auntie. They say, I tell my auntie. My auntie doesn't want to hear that her son cannot do that kind of thing. So I tell them, you speak to the son. Tell him that you have control over your body. And tell him he should respect himself, because any guy who does that doesn't have self-respect, and they need to speak some sense into his head. So I tell them that, and some I meet them, you know, in the quarter. Some I went for when I was in the north for a project. They were like, okay, please, I am very young. I got married to this old man.
How old
There's
is she?
nothing. 13. She got married to a 70-year-old. So that's what my my older sister told me, that a 13-year-old getting married to a 7-year-old doesn't 70-year-old doesn't make sense at all. So my older sister told me that, and I was like, what? She said she spoke with the girl, and the girl was crying, but there was no way she could escape. She said, no, I have to stay here because my parents sold me to this thing. We are very poor. So the little money that he gives them, they accept, and he can do whatever he wants to do with me. My older sister encouraged her, and of course, she had a meeting with the men separated from the women, and she spoke with them, and a lot of changes have happened, you know, and they were happy to learn. So I also met some girls some days ago. I was standing downstairs from my house. I was writing out the script. So I met them. A guy was beating them. So I stopped them. I asked them, what is the issue? They said that this guy is beating us because he thought we stole his money. Very young girls. He said he's beating us because he thought we stole his money. We slept last night with him. I was like, God.
How old were they?
Very young. I think from 5 and opposite.
Okay.
And I asked them, how can you be sleeping with a guy? They said, well, we came from the northwest region. There's nothing we can do. We don't have money, so we just sell ourselves out to men. The little they give us, we take. So, well, I told them that there is something better you can do for yourself. Of course, telling them was not enough. They said they don't have food, so I had to give them some money to buy some stuff. And then I also promised talking with them more, and if they have any issue, they get back to me instead of.
I'm sure you felt very bad. Just
Very
telling me I'm
bad.
feeling very bad, because there are lots of young girls out there who don't have food to eat, they don't have even shelter, they move around the place, and with the price we have so many of them out there who are just like they roam the streets day and night. And I want us to watch this report is on gender-based violence. We'll be right back.
Gender-based violence. Gender-based violence, or GBV, is one of the most common and widespread human rights violations. GBV is violence directed against someone on the basis of their gender or sex, which results in physical, sexual, or psychological harm. These acts violate an individual's human rights. GBV is most commonly perpetrated by men against women, girls, and other vulnerable people. However, men can also be victims of gender violence. Who are the perpetrators? Non-partner violence is violence inflicted by someone you do not know well, like strangers, acquaintances, or colleagues. However, violence is generally perpetrated by someone you are close to. This is known as interpersonal violence, which is perpetrated by either a friend or a family member. Intimate partner violence is perpetrated by someone you are in an intimate partner relationship with, a lover, spouse, or an ex-partner. What are the different types of violence? Physical violence is the intentional use of physical force or threats of violence. From a pinch to a punch, any act or threat of violence is damaging, whether the damage can be seen or not. Sexual violence is forcing, intimidating, or even tricking someone to engage in any sexual act against their will. Any sexual act with someone who is unable to understand what they're doing or is unable to consent because of their age, an illness, disability, or the influence of alcohol or other drugs is sexual violence. Forcing a lover or spouse to engage in sexual acts is a form of sexual violence, either called marital rape or intimate partner rape. Sexual harassment is also a form of sexual violence that can either be verbal or physical. It occurs in private and public spaces, such as schools, workplaces, in the streets, and on public transport. Economic violence involves denying a person access to their money, economic activity, or other basic needs by either controlling their finances or stopping them from achieving financial independence. All these forms of violence may lead to emotional and physical trauma. Emotional violence can also include verbal abuse, humiliation, and controlling what a person can and cannot do. Emotional and economic violence are as equally damaging and disempowering as sexual and physical violence. These types of violence are often misunderstood or ignored by people, even those we turn to for help, like the police, the courts, and other support structures. No matter who you are, where you live, or who is inflicting it, GBV is never acceptable.
Welcome back. We are talking about young girls. We are talking about a Bright Future Builders Initiative. We are talking about changing the mindset of young girls out there wanting to have a bright future. That's tomorrow. And we have a set of other persons that right here with me. They are all women. And she is very young too. They call her Salah Echo Maureen. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Now, you're a volunteer to Bright Future Builders Initiative. Now, why did you decide to be, or why did you join as volunteer?
Okay, I decided to join the Bright Futures Builders Initiative because of the way I grew up. I grew up seeing the people around me, my environment. I saw girls being maltreated. Some were being raped, some, in fact, I grew up seeing so many terrible things which gave me this passion in me to grow up to be a strong woman and to also encourage women to be strong because of the way we were being treated or the way we are treated. Some men think women are second-class women and they have power just on, let me say, Women's Day. That's what so many men say. Les femmes, c'est les man au premier mai that they have power. And for me, I think it's wrong. Because women too have seen it that way. They have power, they come out in their full just on Women's Day. They go out naked on the street. For me, I really see it. I've seen it so bad. And the kind of thing the women they do, some of them roast maize, sell tomatoes, and when you even talk to some women about it, they'll say, we are women. We can't do anything.
So you think that the women, the image of women,
yes,
and the International Day is being tarnished. It's not like, it's not celebrated the way it should be.
Yes, it's not
and there's no
celebrated.
advocacy, and women don't fight for their rights on a day like that. Now, as a young girl, now you talk to other young girls. What are the problems of a young girl today?
The problems of young girls today, first of all, their mindsets and their background. Now, there are so many girls, especially in Africa, they grow up, their mom tell them, you're in the kitchen. You will get married one day, your place is in the kitchen, go up,
Is that what your mom tells you?
That's what my mom always tells me.
When we're growing up?
Yes.
All right, and that's
what so many women tell their children.
How old are you?
I'm just 16.
You're 16. Now, when you're growing up from that childhood stage, your mother differentiates you from your brothers, and you
Yes.
have your task, and your brothers too have their task.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Now, how
My
did you
mom-
feel when your mom was doing that?
I felt so bad. Because for me, I believe everybody is equal. I do not believe in men are stronger than women, or men are supposed to do some kind of job, then women, no. So whenever she does that, at a particular time I got tired, and I told her, this has to stop in this house. I told her that I will wash the clothes, my elder brothers will cook. If it's not like that, okay, then let it be there, let nobody do it. And she sat again, she looked at me, and she thought I was white in one way or the other. So she shared the house chores, and today my elder brothers can cook. They do so many things that I myself, when I sit and look at them, I say, wow.
Okay.
This
Now,
is
what's your vision for young girls?
my vision for young girls is empowering them, making them believe that selling tomatoes in the market is not it. Getting pregnant at 15, 14 is not it. My vision for them is I want to empower them, to let them know that they can create jobs for themselves. They don't just sit because, okay, fine, I've gone to school and it's not working, I'm pregnant, I have 1, 2 kids, that's it. No, you have to take care of your kid, yes, but you have to use your mind, your brain to create. Look around you, there are so many things around you.
There's so many opportunities.
Yes, opportunities around you that if you use your head, your brain, you will see them. You will get job and you will be great. So for me.
All right, thank you so much, Salah Echo Lauren. We also have Nzele Mercy. She's right here with us in the studio. Nzele Mercy, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Now you came with the young girls.
Yes.
Now, what's your role?
Well, these young girls, Lauren, she walked up to me one day in school and presented a project to me. And the way she spoke, she was so bold, so eloquent. And I looked at her. She told me, I look at young girls, the way they live their lives, the kind of things they do, they feel like they can always sell themselves for money. They don't want to do anything for themselves and so on. She wants to empower them. And I looked at her. She's been that kind of student who has been bold enough, given that the subject I teach French, and she has had challenges. I started teaching her in Form 2, and I discovered that despite the fact that she was a bit limited in that language, she made efforts more than the students who claim to be originally Francophones. And so she's been a young girl that I've always looked at and admired. And so when she approached me that day and sold that vision to me, I was like, wow. So we have girls like this. We have people like this who can think this way. And from that day, I took her number and I started partnering with her. I mean, calling her. She calls me from time to time and tells me what they do. And then she introduced me to her CEO, and I started communicating with her. And I want to say that you have seen it for yourself, the way she has presented her vision. It is a good one indeed.
All right, now I want to come back to Maureen, because I know you young girls have these young boys who always come around you. When a young man comes around you, what do you do? He tells you that he loves you. Now, what do you do?
For me, what I tell him is God loves him too, and he is more greater than that. He can do better. For me, I would tell him he should focus first of all on building up his life. Because if he starts at that young age, I'm not sure he will arrive. There is time for everything. My mom always tell me that. So whenever a boy comes close to me, I'll tell him there is time for everything.
Now, you talk that with your mom?
Yes.
You actually discuss with any man talks to you out there? You tell your mom?
Yeah, I tell my mom.
You open up to your mom? Your mom opens up with you?
Yes.
When you have to do sex education as well?
Yes, she does. Actually, I've been with my mom since I was a child, and we've been through so many difficult things together. So I don't see her like my mom. I see her like my friend.
All right.
My best friend.
Okay.
So I tell her everything, and she also advises me. When she's talking to me, I don't even feel it's my mom, because she's just too close to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Mercy, now let me say you are the engineer. You are the engine behind the Bright Future Leaders Initiative. You're like, their mother, their mom. You tell them what to do and what not to do. Now, how do you intend to make sure that the vision that does not die prematurely how do you intend to help them so that they achieve, I mean, every little objective they put on paper?
Well, I think that if you say I am the brain behind, I might want to differ a little, because when you look at these girls, they tell me what to do. They actually tell me what they want to do. From time to time, the person who calls me is Brittany. Brittany tells me this is what we are going to do. But I encourage them. I encourage them from time to time. Since I talk with Brittany, I talk with Maureen, I tell them that you are on a good footing. And this project must be a success. So, but they actually tell me what they intend to do. Like the last time they wanted to share food with street children, they told me about it, and I was calling to find out if it actually, took effect. And then when they planned on sharing hand sanitizers and face masks to support Cameroonians who could not afford these things, they told me, I gave my little contribution. And then with time, like I was talking with some people today, I told them about these children, and I said, let us support them, even financially, and connect them to other people who would make this dream come true.
All right. Now she's back. Brittany Berignoy, who is the CEO and founder of Brighter Future Abuse Initiative, and she's going to be telling us this time around about some of your projects. You're just like barely 8 months old, because it was created in November 2019. Now, I want you to tell me about some of the projects, some of the things you've done already. Now, we're going to have some of the images. Maybe our technicians will put some of the images on air. Tell us more about what you have done so far.
Okay. Well, so far we have organized 5 different projects, 5 major projects.
Okay.
And we have had 2 invites and 1 certificate. So the first project we organized was, I think, 6 projects, not 5. So the first project that we organized, I earlier said I did it alone, because I did not have them working with me already. So the first one was the sanitary pad drive, where I organized a sanitary pad drive and I provided over 200 sanitary pads to IDP girls of GBHS Dido for their sanitation. And the second one I already had them. So the second one was a skills acquisition that was aimed at building the entrepreneurial mindset of the underprivileged girls. Like I told you before, I met underprivileged girls who sold their body out to men to have money. So it was like building the entrepreneurial mind so that they will know that there is something they can do for themselves. So we trained over 50 underprivileged girls in GBHS Dido. And they also got the opportunity at the event to sell some of their products to schools officials that were there. And they were very encouraged. And then the third project was the Skills Acquisition 2.0. It was Youth in Tech. It was like, it was a seminar organized for young boys of GBHS Dido. We educated them on, tech, the tech world, their role, and what they have to do to improve the tech world, and also on coding, improving their coding skills, since I'm a coder. And we trained over 35 of them. And also we organized the food drive for underprivileged children and their moms. We organized that and we provided over 50 meals, and we also gave them clothes because they didn't have this stuff, and they were very happy. But from time to time we go there visiting them.
That's quite much.
Yeah, and we also organized, before I forget, we organized a COVID-19 campaign in partnership with the Zoe Health Foundation. We provided over 300 300 face masks and 60 soaps, and also we gave out some devotionals and guidelines fighting against the COVID-19 campaign.
Now, where do you get your funding from?
Well, so far, we got our funding from, people like our family members, but very rare. We also get our funding from friends, from, people that we know, our loved ones. And that's all. But we look forward to, you know, partnering with organizations.
That's what I wanted to ask. That you intend partnering with other organizations whose objectives are related to yours?
They are very important. We look forward to that.
Now, Mercy, now, do you see the future of a young girl? Do you see the future of the young girl very bright, a bright one in Cameroon, when you look at young girls today?
Of course. Of course, because when you look at this project which these children, these young girls have, and the fact that they organize seminars, workshops, and they empower girls, they train them on things like you heard her say that they actually trained some young girls, they had products which they sold, and they keep talking to them. I feel like it should not be limited only in their school, in GBHS Daido. There are several other schools, and girls in those schools, they need this. They need these workshops, they need this training, so that, you know, by the time this project begins to yield fruits, those people they train, they will have to train others, and then it is going to be going on, and before you know it, the girl child we are talking about today, the girl child who is raped, the girl child who relies on men for money, would no longer be that girl child. And I feel that the future of the girl child in Cameroon.
But don't you think that the girl child is that type that is so, I mean, she's so close up?
Yes.
Don't you think that most girl children face that problem?
They face that problem, and most often it comes from the home, from the upbringing. Sometimes the way some persons who bring up other people's children, like, you know, with the crisis, children have had, they got to leave their towns, their villages, and they came to different towns, and they're living with relatives and all. Like you heard her say, a girl was, you know, facing a problem with the aunt's son was trying to rape and all, and the person had to go and tell the aunt, and the aunt said, my son can't do that. Sometimes they don't allow you to, you know, from the home, it starts from there. They like suppress your rights, and the girl child is like always closed up.
She has problems.
And so I feel like if from the, you know, from the roots, a girl child is given this importance and the education that she deserves, and she's exposed, when I say exposed positively, to some kind of ideas, I think the girl child has a lot of potentials. I feel like if Brittany here, if she had this idea and her parents or her siblings suppressing it, that you cannot make it,
she would have been here today talking
you will
about
not be able
this.
to do this. I don't think she would have. There are people who are gifted, you know, some of these things are inborn, they have them. So you just need a little push, and before you know it, they're doing a lot of great things. And I feel like society should let the girl child, you know, express what she has. I think from the home, parents should listen to the girl child. They should push the girl child, should encourage her, and before we know it, the girl child will be a great person in this country.
Now, what are some of the difficulties you have?
Well, difficulties, well, at home, not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. But in society, I face some little difficulties, especially with the opposite sex. They're like, hey, you're a girl, you shouldn't be doing this, how can you? But I just tell myself
People struggling to suppress the idea and discourage you from having your vision. And
exactly. They're like, you're a girl, please, hold on, calm down, you're still small.
You're still small, you're
so
still very young.
I don't tell them anything. In my mind, I'm just like, I cannot stop. I cannot stop. I tell them, it's not about my age. I am older than what you see, because it is actually because of what I have in me, not my age.
Okay.
So the challenges I face, I overcome because I know what I'm up to, and I know what I have to deliver to society. I just know. And so I know that nothing can even stop me.
Now, do you have other activities that you've planned and you want to like realize in the days ahead?
Yes, actually, I'm working on a food drive, a COVID-19 food drive for underprivileged families in Suza, that's in Douala.
Why Suza?
Because I got some information about the place, and I got to realize that there are a lot of people there. They got affected by the COVID-19 crisis. they have less, they had less economic independence before. And then the COVID-19 crisis now just came and wiped out everything. So now they barely eat. What they do is they just give birth. I'm not just going there for a COVID-19 food drive. I'm also going there to talk to them and about the importance of, birth control, because they give birth to children they cannot take care of and they suffer the children. So it's not right. So, yeah.
All right. At this age, you're talking of birth control already. I think that they just put to birth children, and you can't take care of the child when the child is the child comes out, and the child is out there, no food, no shelter, no clothing, and the rest are just lots of problems. Now, I want you to look at the camera, right? Okay. You talk to the girl child out there. Tell her about your potential and tell her about your vision.
To every girl child out there, I am Brittany Mikokor, a 14-year-old. I might be younger than you or older, but I just want to tell you that age really doesn't matter. Your potentials cannot be determined by your age. You are bigger than your yesterday, and you shouldn't judge yourself by the mistakes you made yesterday. And you shouldn't judge your future by what you're doing today, though it's important to build your future from today. And what I want to tell you is that you should make up your mind from today to be a better person, to see yourself in high esteem, to do your things with a lot of boldness and courage, because it all depends on you. You are not your past, but you are what you make yourself. And I want to tell you that you have a lot of potentials. You just need to unleash, and that is all. You have a lot of potentials, trust me.
All right, now talking about a bright future builders initiative, can anybody be part of it? Can I be part of it?
Well, the Bright Future Builders Initiative, on the model, it is, the age range is from 15 to 25. That is the age range to become a volunteer with the Bright Future Builders Initiative. But there's no age range for being a sponsor or being,
Right.
We don't have age range for that. But to become a volunteer, because of, some things we have to manage, the age range is 15 to 25.
And we know what it means to become a volunteer. You must love what you're doing. You must be ready to sacrifice and put smiles on millions of faces out there. And I mean, you give the little you have to change mindsets. Now, Mercy, I also want you to look at the camera. You talk to young girls out there. You tell them who they are and the potentials they have.
I think a young girl is a very special person. A woman, came from a young girl, started from a young girl. And so if a young girl begins by not believing in herself, and then the future of the woman is in peril. And so it starts from there. What kind of woman would you want to become? You look at yourself and you tell yourself that you are wonderfully made. And you have a lot of things that you can offer to the society. And you have to work towards achieving those things. You have to partner with people like Brittany, who are going to be a source of inspiration to you. And I believe with her vision, if young girls out there could, look at Brittany and pluck courage from there, pluck inspiration from there, then I believe that in time to come, we'll not be talking about a failed young girl. We'll be talking about a successful young girl. We'll be having many more young girls coming to programs like this and talking about their vision and empowering other young girls. Young girls, you are more than what the society thinks you are. You are bolder than what they think you are.
Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for that. And thank you, Maureen, for making it here today. We're talking about Bright Futures Builders Initiative. Is about changing the mindset of young girls. Brittany and her friends want young girls to believe in themselves and know they have a bright future. That's tomorrow. So forget about your past and face the future. Everything that is positive. Thanks for watching the program. The program was Turn Up. Thanks for watching.